Hey, we got to see a Witcher 4 Unreal 5 engine tech demo cinematic showcase thing just recently, and it's all very impressive and looks really cool, but it got me thinking. Where are all the super games of the future that I thought that I'd be playing by now when I was a kid? Don't get me wrong, I'm a big Witcher fan and I'm sure The Witcher 4 will be an amazing open world action RPG experience that hopefully improves upon all the things that made The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt so great and maybe comes up with or borrows a few new ideas from other more recent modern open world RPGs. And Gabe Newell willing, it doesn't resemble another Cyberpunk 2077 upon release. However, ultimately it'll probably just be a fun, immersive, story-driven game like so many others, ready to play sometime in 2027 or 2028. But let those dates sink in for a second. We live in a world where game release dates are nearing the latter half of the current decade. As crazy as that sounds, 2030 isn't that far away. So I'll ask again, where are all the super games of the future? And what do I even mean by super game? Are these titles that have become cultural phenomena like Skyrim or Grand Theft Auto or Minecraft? Or are these games that determined the industry trajectory for entire genres, for better or worse, but mostly worse, like World of Warcraft? Or are these massive player-controlled and dominated shared universe sandboxes like EVE Online? These are all great examples, but like I said, we're on our way to 2030. Where's the real next-gen future super game stuff? Where's the Battlefield game with giant maps of 2,000 versus 2,000 players? Where's PlanetSide 3? Where's the ancient Greek war game 500 BC simulator where you run into battle alongside thousands of other hoplites, phalanxing and 300ing your way to victory like some kind of Leonidas on crack? I remember running around Alwayn Forest when World of Warcraft was a relatively new game. I remember paying for a subscription to one of the first MMOs ever made and thinking, can you imagine that Northshire Abbey could totally get invaded by orcs and the whole map will change? Maybe the human spawn area or the human starting location could be somewhere else in a few months from now, and the map could dynamically evolve over time based on player choices and the ebb and flow of entire factions and stuff like this. I honestly thought this when I played WoW for the first time. Anything was possible. I was paying a subscription. What happened? Well, what happened? Where are the dynamic worlds? Where's the evolution and innovation of gameplay systems that have been around for the last 20 years? Where's the next-gen fidelity? Okay, now don't get me wrong, not every game needs to be some octuple A mega super game with the budget of a small country. Year in, year out, we do get truly incredible titles that I'm so glad that I get to play. Every day doesn't need to see the release of a Red Dead Redemption 2 or an Elden Ring level masterpiece. But wouldn't it be nice to have like 3 or 4 insane, truly next generation games that just push current technology to its absolute limits? You know what I mean? Star Citizen obviously comes to mind. That's what I've primarily made content for on this channel over the years, because it's capable of providing genuinely amazing emergent gameplay. But that ludicrous space game comes with its own host of problems and monetization controversies that, at this point in time, I feel might do irreparable damage to whatever game it actually gets released as one day, if ever. And that leads me to the real point of this video. When did solid game design and ideas become less profitable or appealing to developers and publishers than the egregious monetization tactics and greed-driven business models that dominate modern gaming? It's a rhetorical question, I guess, because we all know that AAA gaming investment money totally abhors risk, and it's why we get stuck with the disgusting industry standard of something like paying $10 extra for 5 days of early access to the next overhyped crafting survival game on Steam, instead of some genius developer tackling the creation of, say, an MMO version of Kingdom Come Deliverance. Right? Tell me you don't think that would be a wildly successful game. Humor me if you will. Imagine roaming around as a gang of bandits on horseback with your friends, pillaging and raiding farmsteads and villages, engaging other player bands operating as mercenaries with an evolving map of control and conquest as you transition into an end game filled with player-run guilds managing first-person siege warfare and all the associated supply chain and logistics gameplay. Why has no one expanded on the Sea of Thieves formula and created a real high seas golden age of piracy game that actually has exciting gameplay depth and character progression? Is it this Crosswinds game? I fucking hope so, man. If you told teenage Void dude from 20 years ago that in 2025 we still don't have a native drop-in drop-out multiplayer cooperative Elder Scrolls game with the detail of Skyrim or Oblivion remastered for instant adventures with your friends, I'd call you a fucking liar. Yet here we are. What about a Valheim-inspired open-world RPG? Only instead of rafts and long ships, you explore the world and progress by raising and training dragons complete with their own skill trees. Where's that game? Come on, man. We're more than halfway through 2025 and no game exists where I can jump onto a dragon and help my friend lay siege to a castle from the sky, melting armies with my dragon fire and having epic sky battles against other players. Dragon versus dragon mounted combat. Why has no one made this game yet? Do these sound like risky investment ideas to you? Like what is actually happening? These sound like guaranteed billion-dollar gaming franchises just waiting to be made. Am I f***ing crazy? I just don't think good game ideas are that hard to come by. The state of the gaming industry makes me mourn for these titles that could have existed but probably never will. It doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. There are plenty of titles on the horizon that look promising, but there are an equal amount of reasons to be skeptical. After Starfield, who's holding out hope that Elder Scrolls 6 won't suck? I don't think Bethesda have it in them to reach the lofty heights that they did reach with, Skyrim, for instance. Light No Fire looks like it might come close to what should be the obvious evolution of a game like Valheim, but you cannot tell me that there just aren't the most insane gaps in the landscape of games that are on the market today thanks to the absolutely embarrassing performance of the AAA gaming industry in recent times. Outside of AAA, I understand that the stars truly need to align for a studio to be able to create a masterpiece, and I think Lorien, and now more recently Sandfall Interactive, are the best examples of this with Baldur's Gate 3 and Expedition 33. An insane combination of passion, years of hard work, intrepid quantities of business savvy, and a pinch of luck all had to come together in a perfect storm for these studios' respective titles to get fully developed and shipped out of their doors. And all the power to them. This is where the future of gaming truly needs to go. It's the indie game dev industry where I think the true origins of the amazing unmade super games of the future will begin. As time goes on and the barrier to entry to create amazing games of insane quality levels gets lower and lower, and with more progress in AI and other tools that can assist developers to bring their visions to life, I don't think it's impossible that perhaps within the next 5 years we'll be starting to see micro teams capable of creating stuff that could compete with the likes of games like Star Citizen in terms of scope, scale, and raw ambition, without the billion-dollar price tag or the pathetic monetization and marketing strategies. I love games, and that's the future of gaming that I want to live in, and I hope we get there soon. Until then, I guess we're going to have to be happy playing The Witcher 4 in 2028. It'll probably be a good game, might even be a great game, but it will just be another open world action RPG, the likes of which we have all seen many times before. As always, thank you to all the patrons and YouTube members who keep this channel going. You can find the links in the description if you too want to help out and support the content. Speaking of channel supporters and long-time handsome viewers just like you, yes, the content is changing. The channel is evolving. Wow, how exciting. I'll probably still be making Star Citizen content from time to time, but I'm pivoting the focus of this channel to general games industry related stuff that I find interesting or discussion worthy, and branching out to other games I feel are worth playing and you should probably check out too. So I hope you'll continue to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, take it easy, see you in the next one. Cheers.